We're going to wrangle. We got Justin Smith in our Melbourne studio, and on the desk here with me, Danica De Giorgio, in early from what are you doing tonight?
What do I do?
Late debate tonight, all over the place. Look, let's start with the coalition. Justin, is this a ridiculous move by the Nationals to blow up the coalition, or is this a healthy sort of time apart to reassess their relationship?
I don't think healthy is a word that I would ascribe to what's been happening over the last couple of days, mate. And I don't think you would do that either. But you've got to have a look at the Nationals here and think, well, it's easy for them to sort of sling off at the Liberal Party, and the Liberal Party certainly deserves it after the result that they've had. But the Nationals need to remember that they've been along for the ride, not only for 80 years, but over this disastrous campaign. They've been along for the ride. Now, you know, people like David Littleproud has been standing up and sticking up for Peter Dutton and going along with the campaign. It's their campaign as well. So if it was a disaster, they've certainly got to wear some of that too, you would think. But maybe a little time apart might be, as you say, healthy.
There is a sense, Danica, that it's a bit of, it's not me, it's you, you know.
It's a bit like a bad relationship, isn't it? A divorce gone wrong or something. Look, I do actually agree with Justin's point. I think they need to actually come together soon, because otherwise we are going to be stuck with Labor for a very, very long time, and the Libs and Nats will be in the wilderness. But my issue here is, why would the Nationals want to wait around for the Liberals to sort themselves out? I mean, the Libs, who are they? What do they stand for? What are their policies? The Nats are looking after the people in the regions. They're looking after nuclear power. They want to ditch net zero by 2050. What exactly do the Liberals stand for? And if the Libs don't get themselves together soon and find out their policy, well, no wonder the Nats are forging ahead.
Well, hang on. All these policies the Nats are worried about are policies that were taken to the election. So they should stay in and try and make sure that the coalition sticks with them. And the Nats haven't abandoned net zero either. They've actually backed it for the last 4 years.
But that whole nuclear argument was buried in the last...
Oh, no, they stuffed it up. No, they look, but I'm saying the policies are there. The way they prosecuted them were just disastrous. Let's have a look at what the great man, the former Prime Minister John Howard, had to say with Andrew Bolt last night. Oh, we don't, but I can assure you that the great man shared words of wisdom in which he suggested the coalition needs to get back together for the sake of the country. It's the only way to provide an effective opposition and a path forward for the right of centre parties. Do you think we'll see this resolved quickly? I just got a sense talking to David Littleproud earlier, Justin, that, maybe there could be a quick sort of rapprochement, but there seems to be another school of thought that thinks this could all go all the way to the next election.
Look, I think it's going to go all the way through. They certainly seem to be determined. But can I say this, though? There's a determination sometimes, and it comes from people in the media that we've got to save the Liberal Party or we've got to save the coalition. I know that's John Howard's job, and that was a big part of his legacy, is keeping the coalition together. But if the Liberal Party were to dissolve, and if the National Party were to dissolve, someone else is going to fill that void. I mean, I think trying to save them has probably been their biggest problem, because they think they've got so many people sticking up for them that all they've got to do is put on a blue bloody T-shirt and go to the polling booth and people are going to vote for them. Maybe they need to actually start trying a hell of a lot harder than they have been to sell what they've got and to try and catch a few voters. Well, I think it was just a disaster.
They've been the natural party of government in this country over the past century, Danica, and you do need an effective opposition as well as an alternative government, and you do need a right of centre party. We can't have everybody on the Green Left. We won't last very long.
No, we certainly will not last very long, but I also think it raises the question, Chris, of where is Conservative politics heading to in this country when already weeks after an election you've got a split for the coalition. I think it raises questions about where it's going. And again, it comes down to what they actually stand for anymore.
It's extraordinary. I've never seen it this low, obviously. And no one expected this 2 months ago. No. For all the gloating Labor supporters might have, none of them predicted this. So it is extraordinary, but it goes to show in politics nothing's ever as good or as bad as it seems. So it could turn around quickly if they get their act together. I want to get to
it's as bad as it seems.
Oh, no. Nothing in politics is ever as good or as bad as it seems. That's the unbreakable rule.
Peter Dutton might have a different thought.
Well, I'm tipping in about, probably not yet, yet. But within a week or two, Peter Dutton will be thinking he's well
Thank
out
goodness.
of it.
He's probably
life's
thinking, thank
good.
goodness it all worked out.
Get his handicap down and all the rest of it. I want to go to US politics, and we've talked a lot about how the media and the Democrats and the White House hid the obvious mental decline of Joe Biden. But the person a lot of people are focusing on now is his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. Here she is.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the... And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
The last time I saw someone talking like that to a person was at my kid's childcare centre, you know.
It's so patronising.
Do you think she's culpable?
I do. Absolutely, she's culpable. Dr. Jill acted like the ultimate stage mother throughout this entire campaign, orchestrating Joe Biden stage left, stage right. The bloke could barely stand up. He had no mental capacity to do anything, yet she was cheering him on. And you remember a week after that debate, Chris, she posed on the front cover of Vogue magazine wearing a $5,000 outfit and said, "We will decide our future." She is as culpable as the rest of them. She's as culpable as the Democrats. She's as culpable as all of the doctors who hid his decline. We should know when he was first diagnosed, because I actually think that's a disgrace. Because had he won, what, they were just going to give it to Kamala?
I suppose so. Justin, you still reckon he was good enough to go for another term, don't you?
Oh, I don't think I ever said that, mate. But anyway, look, nice try. I actually thought the courts would have been far too busy with both his successor and predecessor, who happens to be exactly the same person. But if they lied to anyone, they should absolutely answer to it. I mean, we're talking about a big job here, so if they covered anything up, I have no problem with them, with people going after them.
Yeah, spot on. Thanks for joining us, Justin, and Danica will catch up with you next week.